All right, this is Rabbi Son, hot takes on news, pop culture, and religion, hosted by Rabbi Patrick and, of course, my son Javon. Spiritual, all kinds of things, always irreverent, always hot takes, all of the things. Audio edition, we hope that you're liking the audio-only edition. If you don't like it, let us know. You got to tell us, people. Tell us what's going on. Produced by Darshan Yeshiva. Boy, are we glad that Darshan Yeshiva lets us do this. Javon, how are you doing today? And the congregation says, fine. He's doing fine. Well, here's a situation that might cause you to lose sleep, and it's a little bit more, okay. So, girlfriend makes me uncomfortable when she brings up the Holocaust constantly. Am I the A? So this one's kind of a long one. I'm going to try and do a short version of this. So my girlfriend, these people are both 35, is very interested in the Holocaust and brings up the topic often when we're out with friends. She will sometimes start the conversation by telling everyone that the topic bothers me, but proceed to bring it up. For context, I'm Jewish and she's not. I have family that escaped the concentration camps. My parents migrated to America when they were very young. Am I the A for telling her I feel uncomfortable with her bringing it up so often? When I talk to her about it, she just shrugs and says I can't control what she says, meaning like he can't tell her what to do, right? Sometimes I just want to have a fun night out with friends and not have to think about how my family and relatives were tortured and killed. Oh my God. I realize it's an important topic, but I feel at the same time there's a time and place. Am I the A for trying to, quote unquote, control what she says? So, he also adds this edit, which maybe I should put in here to clarify. She's not a Holocaust denier or in any way anti-Semitic. She brings up legitimate topics of survival stories, struggle, hope, and evil, appropriate deep topics after watching a documentary or visiting a museum, but I don't want to talk about it during burgers and beer night with friends. Okay. Am I the A?
No.
Javon? Okay. No. Okay.
It would just be like we're having dinner with somebody and like me being like, hey, I just watched this documentary on slavery and I just found out they were making, slaves into, purses.
Oh, God.
Like, while we're eating, I think, it's an appropriate conversation for appropriate place. It's time and place.
Time and place.
This is more of a time and place. And he needs, there is disrespect going on.
Uh-huh.
And he needs to be like, look, I'm finding your action disrespectful every time we're out. I get it, you have questions, but you're disrespectful to everyone else's time. Nobody wants a Debbie Downer at dinner.
Right.
I don't know. Right. Go out to dinner and talk about people getting murdered.
Right.
And sometimes I don't have dinner. I don't want to, chop it up. I just want to, I'm going to dinner with friends.
Right.
To not think about what's going on.
Right.
Will it shift that conversation? Will it shift to like something political in the noun? Yes. Am I going to go out and talk about a sad documentary?
Right.
No.
Right.
Unless that was like, have y'all seen fill in the blank?
Sure.
Like on fill in the blank.
Right. Like some things come out recently.
Exactly.
And it's like, and even then that's a tough one. Like, have you seen the latest, episode of like the History Channel where it's like all Hitler all the time?
Yeah.
Right. Like yeah.
A bit ridiculous. And like, she just needs to like grow up. Like, or go to like, I don't know, go to like it's like, I don't know what she could go to for this. Like, go to like a group where like
all you're talking about
World War II
enthusiasts, yeah.
I don't know.
Holocaust Museum, a local Holocaust museum, if there is one.
Something. Talk to an old Jewish person about their family history.
Right.
Like, to learn about it. Something other than bringing up like that topic at dinner when people are trying to have like a good time.
So I had a weird experience kind of like this. So I was out to dinner with a friend of mine, and it was a thing where like her like cousin or something was in town. I forget who this relative was, but it was a person who was like a little older than us, but still like our peer group. And she said, hey, I'm gonna we're gonna meet up with my cousin. She's in town. Like, we'll go get food, whatever. She's cool. You'll like her. I'm like, okay, fine. So she said, there's just one thing about my cousin is that she's like super evangelical Christian. And I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, but she's still cool. Like she's into music and whatever. Like it's not a thing. Like, all right, whatever, fine. So we're talking about like, we're like going into this restaurant. Like we're talking about like just, I don't know, whatever pop cultural stuff. So I was like, probably your age. We sit down and immediately she says, well, boy, like Obama just threw Netanyahu under the bus. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, what is that? Like, that's such a random. And then like she started getting into all this stuff about like circumcision and all of these other things. And I was just like, I'm like really uncomfortable. And I did the thing. I've never done this before except this one time. I like actually got up to go to the bathroom just because it was so awkward. And I was hoping that the friend that I was with would like talk to her cousin and be like, dude, like chill out a little bit. I don't know if they did or not because like we kind of ended dinner and she, I guess, left or whatever. But yeah, but it was super weird and uncomfortable. And like, I think if I'm this guy, I'd say to, my girlfriend, like, hey, I'm not trying to control what you say. I'm just, asking you, how do you think this feels to me or to other people when like you're bringing it up? And like, why is this, do you bring this up around other people other than me? Because like one user here said, like, I think you're being fetishized. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I wonder, maybe there's a thing to that.
I just think like, yeah, he needs to be like, look, time and place.
Mm-hmm.
She should know time and place. It is just, every time I go out with Susan, I don't want to hear Susan talking about something terrible.
Right.
And it's just like, I just want to have dinner. I don't want to eat a burger. Like, if I want to have an intellectual conversation, I'll be like, I would have that, but always bring it up every time you're out trying to have a nice time. It is just like, I don't know. Fine, like, I get that you're interested in a topic, but this is like, it seems like this is a overconsumption of a topic.
Yeah, so this is an interesting comment. So this comment, no-son-6531 says, not gonna lie, I'm black, and outside of other black people talking about things like our ancestry or family history, I'm not trying to discuss slavery or civil rights when I'm out for the evening hanging with friends. And if a friend who wasn't black kept bringing it up, I would be offended and feel like they were disrespecting me. This was blank. My family suffered through that affects us today. I don't know how they meant to say that. Not fun little trivia. It's weird and she needs to effing stop. It's not cool and she needs to know that this would be breakup worthy for me.
Yeah, because you keep telling her about it. It's just weird. It is weird. And like, like I said that before, when I made my first point.
Right.
Of like, like you can learn something new and then you can know when it's appropriate to share that new information. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Why are you talking like just a difference of having the Holocaust? But I don't want to hear like that someone went into a gas chamber and like digging into a burger.
Right.
Like that is just
right.
Certain topics for different things. And then you keep telling her you're uncomfortable, and she keeps saying, "Well, you can't tell me what to do." And it's like, no, it's not telling you what to do. It's your comfortability level.
Right.
And then, like, just do what you want to do, learn what you want to learn, but like every time, like, are you not interested in any other topic?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, why does she keep bringing this one thing up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like,
and did she bring it up? And that would be an interesting question. Be like, hey, when did you first get interested in this topic?
If it was when she started dating a Jewish guy, and then you have to ask questions,
right?
Like, whether or not, like, she's getting her jollies off if you're Jewish.
Well, okay. So like maybe because I'm a big fan of benefit of the doubt. If there's I don't really feel like there is a benefit of the doubt on this one, but I think that maybe there could be some sort of weird personality trait to her that like she sees this as being like very supportive and she doesn't understand that actually it's super cringy. So like before we adopted you, I kind of thought to myself, like, how much do I need to bring up things related to like Black life or things that are in the news or stuff like what's my responsibility to you as a white parent? And also, I had social workers who were trying to scare me into believing that I could never live up to, you know, doing that, right?
Mhm.
And so I did. I had it kind of lodged in my brain a little bit, and it took a minute for me to be like, no, like, first of all, it's not my responsibility to teach this young man what it's like to be Black in America. Actually, it's the other way around. Like, he can tell me things and I can ask questions, and that's where this is going to go. Like, the most I've ever done with you is, which I would do with any kid, is like, hey, when a police officer pulls you over, that's not when you get on a social justice platform. Like, that's when you get out of the situation as cleanly as possible and we'll deal with the speeding ticket later, or something like that. But I did have friends of mine, because this wasn't that long after like the rise of BLM and all that stuff, who said to me, like, well, are you going to talk to him about social justice issues? Are you going to talk whatever? And like, yeah, it did like kind of, worm into my head a little bit, but I figured it out. And then that was that. I'm wondering on some level if this woman sort of like started dating this guy, she sort of maybe went a little too far with thinking about like, oh, we're going to be together forever. And like, I need to know all this stuff about like his like culture and history and all of that. And then it just kind of became lodged in her head. And now it's like a really unhealthy obsession.
I mean, like I said, with the last thing.
Yeah.
This just sounds like a regular white woman who's found something of, cultural significance that she's clatching onto. Like, maybe she thinks that, but like, where's your culture at? What are you going to teach the kid? Like,
right.
Why are you always constantly telling the kid, like, oh, this terrible thing happened? Like, give the child some levity. Like, woo, like I get, like
it's a balancing act.
Yes, the world is a terrible place. Like this, we know, and yes, it is harder for but still, that's not like nobody want to hear that constantly.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, with either one of these people, whether it's the 2% Jewish friend or the girlfriend to the Jewish guy, it is sort of a like, if we give you the benefit of the doubt, which I'm a huge fan of, I've said it already today once, like, then what we're going to do is we're going to, in some sense, clarify for you a more appropriate way of behaving.
Yeah,
which is,
I mean, these people are lacking communication skills.
Yeah,
going to Reddit for advice. Like, if y'all need to go to Reddit for advice to know how to talk to people, then you just.
No, I'm not going to be mean to these people.
I'm not saying. Yeah, but I'm just saying. Like, if you're not able to properly communicate, if you feel like there is something that's bothering you, you tell that person what exactly is bothering you. I hate when people like mince words.
Well, they did. Like both of these people did that. To be fair to them, they just had an experience.
Okay, yeah, and then it's like, all right, now I'm gonna cut you loose because you're not respectful. Yeah, and I'm not. You've been disrespectful too much, and now you just have to go about your business.
Yeah. Well, yeah. With the first one, I mean, I guess that one is what it is. I don't know if Mountain-Cranberry 69 is still with, said girlfriend. I'm gonna probably doubt it.
Yeah, because she's an obsessive, like, lunatic.
Well, your words, not mine, but I do.
Yeah, obsessive lunatic.
I think, I think, to be fair, there is a difference between appreciating something and, some people say the word appropriating. That's not what's true in this case.
Yeah, you can appreciate, the fight and, the struggle. Yeah. But you don't always have to continue to remind people.
And you can be supportive of it too.
Of the struggle.
Join the Holocaust Museum. Like you said, join like some sort of group that is interested in the topic. But yeah, when you're out for pizza with your friends, like,
yeah, like
not appropriate timing.
Yeah. Are you going to talk about like every Holocaust movie that comes out, every Anne Frank situation that comes out? It's like, you appreciate the struggle. You can appreciate the struggle in like, where people, have how far people have came. But like, you just don't have to bring it up every time. Because it seems like, what are you talking about now?
Right.
Like, I get it. We get it. Like, I don't have to keep being reminded.
Right. Or bringing up Israel every single time you go out.
Exactly. Like I don't, like, okay, sometimes, people are on different pulses. You know, sometimes people aren't in the immediate, and this goes with any social justice issue.
Right.
Like, you don't have to keep re-bringing it up. Sometimes people don't want to live in that world all day. Sometimes people have more going on in their lives and like just don't want to keep hearing what's already being reported. Like, you don't think they've seen it, they saw it. They just don't want to converse about it because people want levity.
Right.
People want to talk about different things. You know, people want to talk about something not negative.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. So, you know, big picture, yeah, you can be passionate about the Holocaust or Israel or any number of issues, but like, just, yeah, calm down a little bit. Yeah. And if you're the person on the receiving end of that stuff, you know, you do have a right to decide, you know, if this person respects you or is, you know, tokenizing you or, you know, yeah, if you're like the plus one in their, you know, in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening. And we've got more of these because honestly, these are fun to record. They're easy to record. I hope you like them. Please like, share, subscribe. Give us feedback. Go on Substack and post some stuff. Let us know how you feel. Maybe we're wrong. We're more than happy to take your questions too. So send us questions, post them on Substack, post them on social media. We promise to share them. Thanks a lot, y'all. Thank you.